The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another exciting edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, and squeezably soft host. Once more into the breach do we go, dear friends. As always, we meet at this time to talk about stocks and stuff.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
every trading day. And of course, what do we have going on today? And that is a market that is light and variable. We're up about 4 points on the S&P cash. Volume is light, 2.4 billion shares. We had some pretty horrible numbers for job numbers. Pushed the market down at the beginning. Now everybody's trying to figure out how we can find some reason to buy. There's got to be some reason to buy because we know the markets only go higher. Anyway, up 5 points on the S&P cash, volume 2.4 billion shares. And we will continue keeping an eye on what's going on here. But that's it. This, guess we kind of had this last week too, didn't we? Everybody thought that, well, if no one's going to sell into the weekend, we'll buy it. And then, of course, on Monday, the market has to go back up. So we'll see what happens on Monday. But pretty light and variable, and we still have a lot of time before the end of today. But it seems like there is zero fear about buying into a weekend today. I could have maybe seen it go flat. I just don't know about jumping in before the bell. Let me put it that way. I could see maybe in the last 5 minutes, but I don't know about buying about 1:30 or 2 o'clock on a Friday afternoon and thinking it's probably a great idea. Seems to me like something else is going on. Anyway, 2.4 billion shares as we go on. And you can make a case that maybe we've tested the lows again on lighter volume. My guess, though, is that we still have lower prices to see. But it will take a little while for it to develop. What else do we have going on out here? Oh, we need to get a little bit of history going out here, don't we?
That it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
On this day in 1870, Peter Gianni is born in San Jose, California. In San Francisco in 1904, he founds the Bank of Italy to serve the city's burgeoning working class. It later finances the Golden Gate Bridge in the depths of the Depression, lends David O. Selznick the money he needs to finish Gone with the Wind. And, of course, the end of the story, we now know it as Bank of America, one of the world's biggest financial services firms. And
now you know the rest of the story.
I guess you do. So anyway, a bunch of other things going on out here. Wanted to say Nixon was going to China, but no. It's Mr. Tim Cook of Apple. Chief executive says he is planning to visit Beijing later this month to meet with high-level government officials at the time when he's facing some setbacks in important overseas market. A source familiar with the matter said. And I find it very interesting because basically you have to go over there with your hat in your hand, and normally they'll ask for something like, why don't you give us all your source code? Why don't you give us all of this? Tell us how to build this. It's okay as long as you move all your manufacturing here, and your development. Normally this is the first step in trying to absorb anything else out of the country. That is, bring your competitor to their knees and have them give away the farm. The question is whether Tim Cook will fall for this plan. My guess is he will not. And you got to know that. I think he's got to know that he's going there and probably going to end up with a whole lot of nothing. But Nixon went there. Maybe it's time for Tim Cook to go there too. FireEye's had earnings out, and they are down. We've talked about this several times. Of course, right now the CEO is leaving to become the chairman. We've got a new CEO coming in, but it's down a little bit. But nothing has changed in this sector, and that is it is going to take an act of Congress or lawsuits or insurance companies saying that unless you buy this kind of stuff, we are not going to insure you or put you out of business if you don't do it by an act of Congress. But right now, not a lot happening in the information security world. FireEye is a little bit different than some of the others. And I have a feeling that the CEOs of most of these companies have no idea actually what FireEye does. But them and CyberEye and a bunch of others out here probably always going to be rather tough until there is that tipping point moment. It has occurred in all the convenience stores across America. That is, if you don't have CCTV, you do not have insurance. They will make you put it up or not insure you. And that's probably the exact same thing that's going to happen before we have any kind of integrated security and multi-level security in any of these places. Most CEOs just look at it as an expense that they would rather not incur, much like the convenience store guy who just didn't feel like it was worth putting a tape in that VCR. Of course, if we got all kinds of stuff going on out here, and oh yeah, is this? I guess it is. I wanted to bring this up just because I'm into it, and we'll ride this through this segment and then get into stocks after this. We've got a rare event coming on Monday, and that is Mercury is making a rare passage between, of course, our humble planet Earth and the sun.
Mama always told me not to look into the eyes of the sun. But Mama, that's where the fun is.
Well, I hope you don't look into the sun on Monday, but if you are, and maybe around in the eastern part of the United States, you will be able to start seeing the partial transit start at somewhere around 7:13 Eastern time, and it will run pretty much all the way through mid-afternoon to 2:41 p.m. But if you're a stargazer, this is one of the rare times you will see Mercury pass through the sun. And guess what? It proves that we do not live on a flat planet, believe it or not. I don't know if everybody still is there anybody that really truly believes the Earth is still flat? I'm hoping that there isn't. There's probably one guy in a cabin somewhere. But other than that, that's it. Anyway, Monday, make sure to catch that. We'll be going into charts and other things when we return from this brief timeout.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
And we're back. Got a lot of stocks moving out here today. We will get to the first one here, which is Air Lease. A nice little gap up. Not a lot of energy. Of course, this is a kind of an opposite day. We're up 6 points on the S&P cash, 2.47 billion shares on the New York Consolidated Tape. Kind of a little hanging man out here. We might want to keep an eye on that. Almost all of these have earnings out or other news, so we'll go through these as fast as we can and see if there's anything to be had. You wanted to see something close to 1 million shares today. And you got about 800,000, so you're probably getting close to it. Still have a high at 33.10 to get out on that one. ATHX, which is Aether Systems, no big deal on that one. ATVI, Activision Blizzard, had a very good earnings call last night. I listened to it. Pretty interesting. I like the pop-up. I dislike the volume. I would have liked to seen something like, 25 million shares here for this pop. Basically getting about 20 million going back into this gap down that happened on the 4th of January with about 8 million shares. So volume is good. Seems a little bit on the weak side. Of course, BATS had a big day out here. This was one of the first IPOs to come out this year. That they could get out the door. Nice little pop in it today. But I don't know if you can make a great deal more about it than that. B Square, which is B here or B Square. Light volume stock, but it's kind of headed back down to its lows. To Chesapeake Energy, nice little gap down today. To see if you can see anything more. We're basically into this candle where it really had a sign of strength back on the 12th of April. That day had 184 million shares today. Back into it with about 33, but still back into it. And looking rather weak. You've got two gaps out here that had volume even back on the 11th of April and the 12th of April. Going to have to probably see that $4.50 level to figure that out. Copa Holdings dropped the Chalupa today down on heavy volume back into the $50 range. Got to $50.38, a little up off the lows. You've got two gaps that this has actually come back into. The last gap was 1.7 million shares, and the first gap was 1 million shares. So you wanted to see something less than 1.7 million shares. The 2.9 already is blown through that and actually gone through most of those gaps. Look for those gaps to remain filled for a while on a earnings disappointment. California Resources, Control 4. I don't know much about this company. CyberArk Software. That's kind of more of a little bank shot on FireEye, although it seems to be holding up a little bit better today. Some decent volume. Of course, Tableau Software. This thing is kind of one of those failed IPOs that looks like it's going back to a longer, more desperate time. Is there anything else out here? I mean, you're solidly under the IPO day, and I don't think there's anything other than to say about that. But we'll move on. Just headed lower. Depot Med, a little bit of gap fill, and this one actually not bad looking. You gapped up on the 8th of April with 11 plus million shares. Back into it with 1.7 million shares today. Not a bad pattern if you were wanting to buy some strength. I would have liked to have seen that candle where it did gap up on the 8th of April with a little bit more heft on it. Not such just a kind of a spinning top kind of formation, but interesting nonetheless. Other ones bouncing out here. Forepay Education still on the forefront. A lot of people short this stock, DeVry Education. Symbol is DV. And that is, what do we got here? Nice volume. You're back into even some of these heavier down days like March 15th that had 1.5 million shares. You got 4.4 million shares in this. But for the most part, I don't see any change in the company itself. You did have a test of the previous low, which was February 5th, $15.81, 1.8 million shares. Did not touch and pierce that, so it did not prove the point. But it did get pretty much down into it yesterday with a light volume, 1.3 million shares compared to the 1.8 million shares, and a sign of strength out here today. But like I said, I have a feeling a great deal of these stocks in for-profit education are still problematic to no end. After the bell last night, this one actually got the losing horn. Indo International, ENDP, down on heavy volume. I don't know if there's anything even to say about this thing, man. You're going to have to go back a long ways to find anything underneath it. Man, you're into it. You were into it going in to news, and it's blown through that. Let's see if there's anything else out here. I don't know, man. You're gonna have to go back years to do it. This thing's blown through all the biggest lows out here. Man, you don't even know where the bottom is. We talked about FireEye earlier. Let's zoom in on this just a little closer time frame. We'll get back into it here. This one's headed back down to its lows. Yesterday we talked about how it didn't look all that bad. The energy on the way down was fairly good. It had gotten to a gap, and the energy wasn't a whole lot yesterday going into it. But you had two things. One, you had a higher volume low that was untested, and two, a market that kind of looked like it was trying to decline a little bit. But that high volume low at $11.35, way open, and my guess is we're going to see that tested extremely soon. Golden Entertainment, just a little off the top. GoPro, earnings, of course, out last night. Most important thing was They're delaying some new product launches, and I don't know if anybody. Basically, they're pressing the rumor now that it's a buyout candidate. I have no belief that anybody wants to throw huge amounts of cash at this company, and it is problematic. But now back in the under $10 range is very problematic for GoPro and them raising additional cash, which it looks like they will have to do. Another one blowing apart today, more of a penny stock, but down on heavy volume is GST. This is Gas Star Exploration. A lot of these exploration companies not doing well. This one's down on 4.2 million shares compared to 1.6 million shares going into earnings and news. Goldfield, the Goldfield. We've got some other ones. Oh, HLF. We'll be talking about this one when we come back. There's a few things you need to know. Give me a call at 877-927-6648. Email me at path@tfnn.com or post a message in the den.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find the Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now. Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Directions Daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And we are back. Herbalife out with earnings. Of course, it seemed very interesting. I don't know if there's a whole lot you can actually say about this other than it is a war of titans on Wall Street. Herbalife is a multi-level company, multi-level retailer. they basically said that they had some kind of deal with the government, basically trying to run a little short squeeze on this company. Of course, when you have Einhorn and you've got Icon battling it out on this company, you basically have a company that does have one major flaw. And even though people are not, are mostly sitting on the sides on this, there is a kind of consensus, and that is that this company has to get by with forcing new members in its multi-level marketing scheme of forcing new people to buy about $3,000 worth of product. If they do not do that, this company is not just hurt, but literally out of business in 6 months. And the bet that he's made was that they were going to, the government was going to come in and basically say you can't force people to buy so much of this stuff anymore. Now, of course, basically the Einhorn, not Einhorn, I want to say Einhorn, but it's not. It's, what's his name? Ackman, excuse me. He's done a pretty good job of actually saying what this company does and why he thinks it shouldn't probably exist at all. He's right. He's absolutely right. I sat down with a spreadsheet, went through it. Multi-leveling companies, depending on how they are set up, have basically one thing in common, and that is that 10% of people can make money, the other 90% have to lose, and that is the way of the world. There is no way around it. So, you know, I guess the real question is, if you didn't force people to actually buy product as a distributor when they got to the company, would this be an ongoing concern? And the answer is no. So at this point, the future of Herbalife is all up to the Federal Trade Commission. If they issue an edict that multi-level marketing companies can force new hires to actually purchase a lot of product that everybody knows that they will never sell, one thing. But if it goes the opposite way, Herbalife out of business. Now, if it goes their way, will there be a short squeeze? Yes. Will it last for a little while? Yes. And then it will come back to being kind of the very averagely priced company it should be. And like all these companies, eventually everybody just figures it out. They have to change their name and start all over again somewhere else. Everybody would love to believe that these kind of things work, but all you need is a spreadsheet to figure out 90% of the people, approximately, depending on how it's set up, have to lose for 10% to actually make any money whatsoever. Other things of interest out here is Heron Therapeutics. I'm kind of watching this one out here today because it is getting back down with some light volume to the March 1st low. You've also got a fairly nice high volume high. Unfortunately, it didn't hang up there. It opened high, closed lower, and has been moving lower, but you have to kind of like the last couple of days in this one. Impervia, another one of these stocks that's blown apart with a significantly higher volume today than the last low of February 9th that had 1.2 million shares. Already have 3.1 million shares in this one. It again had some fairly light volume in the consolidation after it bounced off that February 9th low. But as many stocks out here are doing, the earnings are just not coming in on a great deal of them. Loco, which of course was El Poco Loco, another one of these stocks that kind of got on the bandwagon for thinking that they could be kind of like a Chipotle. Never really, come on, Loco. I clicked on the wrong one here. There we go. You know, just one of these failed IPOs. Everybody wants to join the bandwagon. I remember when the internet was a big deal in 2000, and later on with gold. There were all kinds of companies and fly-by-night outfits that were in the internet days and the dot-com days were putting internet in their name, although they had nothing to do with the internet. And then, of course, in the gold in the mid, I think I was going to say about 2005 to 2008, there were a bunch of companies that were big on putting gold, although they had nothing to do with gold in their names. They would just change the name of the company to make everybody think they had something to do with gold. Well, these kind of piggybackers seldom do very well, but not a bad chain. I just really think that they overhyped this thing into the heights of Chipotle CMG, and it is still problematic for these IPOs that we're trying to ride those coattails into something bigger. And of course, Chipotle still really needs to get down to its previous low of 399.14, which is the January 12th low that it needs to test. You came down with heavy volume on its earnings date back on the 27th of April. It's kind of floating around here a little higher, but I think that 399 certainly has a good chance of getting tested. MDR, which is McDermott, up a little bit, not a big deal on it. Mealy, we talked about this and how I was short. We made a little money on it, covered it going into earnings, and it popped up a little bit higher out here. The earnings weren't all that great. Maybe too many shorts for that. We took our little pound of flesh out of it and have moved on, but not a big bump out here. And of course, these guys are in Latin America, and I'm not a big fan of anything outside or especially third world. We'll see what happens when China comes back, but on Sunday night. But I still think that there's some more shoes to drop for a variety of reasons in China. And you never know when the truth comes out over there, but I think we're probably fairly close, maybe within a few weeks, of probably getting some more bad news out of China. Let's see what else is out here on my list of stuff. PDC Energy, he did say, another one of these things that was on a tear above the 9-day. Once it closed below it, you really have to watch out for these things just plopping down. Not as much volume as you would think, but still decent volume, about 3 million shares already. You've got two previous gaps, and as everything in these kind of patterns we've been talking about for a while, in these double repo patterns, look for when they basically started their big run above the 9-day, and that is generally where these things are headed back. In this case, it'd be about $47 on PDC Energy. PDCE is the symbol. We'll be back after this brief timeout.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
If you're looking to discover a new financial resource and diversify your financial portfolio, don't miss out on the Market Safe Commodity Solution CD from Everbank. This is the second running of their popular 5-year U.S. dollar-denominated CD, which gives you exposure to 8 equally weighted commodities, including WTI crude oil, gold, silver, copper, nickel, soybeans, corn, and sugar. With annual pricing caps of 70% per component, you could earn up to 70% upside payment at maturity if the commodities increase in value across annual pricing dates. And should the opposite occur, your principal is 100% protected. Keep in mind, returns are based on CD performance. There's no annual percentage yield or periodic rate of interest on this indexed CD. Don't miss out. Take advantage of this financial resource designed to grow with the times. The May 19th funding deadline is quickly approaching, so hurry over to everbank.com/TFNN for the CD's term sheet and other important product details and disclosures. Once again, that's everbank.com/TFNN. This advertisement is sponsored content. Everbank is a member, FDIC.
TFNN is excited to offer a brand new piece of market scanning software unlike anything the industry has ever seen. John Logan and his team have spent years developing their market profile tools to finally be able to release the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. And right now, you can get a 2-week trial absolutely free just by visiting TFNN.com and providing us your name and email address. The TAS Profile Scanner Plus is the premier market profile-based scanner in the industry. Powered by the acclaimed TAS proprietary algorithms, this feature-rich scanner is a standalone desktop software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Within 3 minutes of signing up, you can have the software downloaded and running on your computer with a complete roadmap of market indicators and inflection points to trade off using the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. Sign up today and try this amazing piece of software by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
And we're back post holdings. Of course, the maker of ready to eat grains and other things with huge amounts of sugar put on them is a breakout today. You wanted 1.2 million shares, the September 17th high, $71.27 to be broke with significant volume. 3.9 million shares already. It did not hold its high at $77.99. It's back down under 75 now. But a pretty nice breakout out here. And of course, these stocks tend to run when everybody's a bit scared. Maybe a little bit of the pop in this market from the lows of the day makes people think that maybe they bought this pop and it shouldn't have. What else do we have? Square, the other company that probably doesn't get as much press, of course, as Twitter, getting the loser horn today. Certainly down significant volume. There's a nice little gap back here to the 12th of February. That gap had about 8.3 million shares. You got 10 million shares today already in this gap down. I don't think there's a lot to say that this does not go right back into this gap. Probably actually even testing the $8.06 low from February 3rd. But this thing gave you a lot of signals up here that there was no energy in the $15 range. You had the first spike at 5.6, got into it on April 11th with 3.1, got into it one more time, still couldn't make a higher high. So you had 3 slightly lower highs into that one last time with 3 million shares. It rolled over before earnings and has blown back up. Again, a lot of failed IPOs out here that we continue to watch. What else do we have in here? One of the companies I like their products a whole lot has broken out too, and that's Ubiquity Networks. Unfortunately, this company, I've wanted to buy it, but it has a problem, and that is that apparently there are people that are willing to say literally anything about the ownership, the CEOs, anything, and nothing ever really happens. And it drives me batty. I love their products. They make access points for Wi-Fi. But you never know when somebody's going to once again say that the CEO is all mobbed up, or that he has mob ties, or that he's killed a young boy, or this is one of these companies where, for some reason, unbeknownst to me, that you get this kind of bizarre news that really truly affects this thing and blows it apart sometimes. And I've been very wary about getting into it. The chart says a different story, and that is that you wanted 830,000 shares as it took off today. And you know what? You've got 1.2 million shares, but looks to me like a fairly decent sign out here that you are breaking above with decent volume. A lot of these companies that did have higher moves this morning did give a great deal back. Now that we're going higher, not really pushing a great deal out here higher, although it was a little bit lower earlier out here. But if you're looking at the next big leg, this thing could go back up to $50. Unipixel, kind of the company everybody thinks is always going to go to the moon yet again, down on news and earnings. Gap down, volume not all that big. This thing had a high volume high at 288. If you're thinking about playing the pennies, doesn't really look all that bad, although I suspect that the buy point in this thing is around $1 when all the dust settles yet again. To VRNG, Bringo, another one of these dollar stocks. Don't see much in it. A lot of people out here pushing Yelp the last couple of days, and I think this started in that Sohn conference on Wednesday. Where am I at here? Hopefully we'll get this. Nice bounce up here, but they started buying this thing in this Sohn conference and started talking it up. Another one of these companies where fundamentally, I think the business model is flawed. That is that, of course, we talked about this before the earnings. But, you can get a stock, especially as heavily shorted as this one, to pop a bit. There's nothing new in that. But you've got decent volume and a gap up. You'd have to see, but just how much this is short. Let's see, what's the date here? Okay, we get a next read, I think, next week on short data. I think it'll be probably Tuesday. We'll see just how short these people were at the earnings date. But you got volume. You got a decent candle out here. The volume is good at 12 million shares. You really don't have a lot of high volume days down. The 15th of December last year, you had, let's call it 6 million shares. So you're basically into that already. It doesn't look all that bad. But man, I tell you what, a fundamentally flawed business model, and I don't know how you get around that ever. Although some people are buying it down here and trying to run it higher, but tough for me to see. Yandex, of course, the Russian company, was down a little lower. They did gap up on the 28th of April with about a little less than 9 million shares. We're back into it with about a little less than 3 million right now. So it really doesn't look that bad. If you're into a play for a few days, this could get back down to about 1870, 1875. This may be interesting for a pop and a day trade. But other than that, I can't really see a lot. Why? Well, just because. This one is had a couple of very bad days. After distribution from about the 11th of April into the 4th of May, this one had a tough couple of days out here. But down again today, volume actually increasing over yesterday's. And this is yet another one of these companies. Let's get the profile for it here. But dubious at best. YY operates an online social platform in the People's Republic of China. It engages users in real-time online group activities through voice, video, text. And it's kind of trying to be a little bit of a WhatsApp and some other stuff. That's why I think that there's a lot of problems with a lot of these companies thinking they're going to China. They already have a lot of what we want, and they don't like Americans coming in and hogging any of their business. But they got a lot of different things going on. It's more of kind of a platform with a lot of things going, a lot of different companies underneath the hood, under education and English courses and various teaching issues, a lot of different things out here. But for the most part, Earnings are poor. I don't see anything changing that. We'll go on to my scans here to close the show up and close the week up as we get down to brass tacks and the weekend. Up 5 points on the S&P cash, volume 2.7 billion shares on the New York Stock Exchange. Consolidated tape.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
Mike in Texas has emailed us and wants to know what I think of a potash out here. You've got a high volume low at $14.64, 23 million shares. You need to get, you kind of gotten into that candle a little bit. But, man, I want this thing tested, and I mean by tested, I want it to go lower than 1464. I want it to do it with lighter volume and close back above 1464. I don't like the energy on the way down, actually, already. It's about the same as the way up. If you got a test of that low, that at least get you to the part of getting into consolidation. Of course, if you're new to this company and or the potash companies, these things were big high flyers a while back, and you started seeing these things blow apart on heavy volume. If you go back to August 2nd, 2013, that's got to be the day, my guess, is right around in there. You had some monster volume. The reason why, in fact, that day you had, was that about 8 million? Let's go back and zoom in on that little section there. 106 million shares. That was on the, July 30th, 2013. What happened that day was Putin and his buddies decided they were going to blow up the potash business and run everybody out, and that would be it. They'd have the entire potash business for themselves. Well, they've been pretty good at destroying this business over time, and the question is whether and how long this continues. But I'm wondering if this business is even the kind of business that it was back then. A lot of commodities like this never actually get back to where they were for a variety of reasons and conditions. But if you wanted to buy this thing, you got to wait for this low. This thing's been in a downtrend. I would take an abundance of caution, and that caution starts with a test of that January 25th low with a much lighter volume, probably some consolidation even after that. And I don't know what else you can say about it. Just abundance of caution. Just remember that the Russians can go out there and blow their nose in this business once again if they wish. Aqua Water. I've been watching this one for a little while. Don't know a lot about the particular company, but let's get to it here. I'm kind of watching this thing just because of the previous high out here on the 3rd of February that had 820,000 shares. Got a little bit over this. We're down a little bit more. But several of these companies just kind of toying out here. You would think with a reversal, or if that's what it is today, that you'd be looking for a great deal more. And, of course, kind of just treading water right around this 2056 level. We'll see how the markets close. 2.73 billion shares. Now, one that actually could be a buy signal, and I'll be watching it early next week, is Vericel. This gapped up on huge volume the 10th of March with 30 million shares. It did come down with fairly heavy volume on the 4th of April, but that was about 7 million shares. It's moved its way back down in there. And light volume, a little bit more crazy than I like, but not a bad-looking chart when you think about the standard Wyckoff method, and that is wait for the blowout move, wait for it to pull back and fill that blowout move, and then buy. So we'll be watching that one next week. We'll probably check back in on it a few times. In the meantime, hang on for Tom O'Brien to wrap the week up. Of course, as always, we'll see you Monday. Same bat channel, same bat time. Remember to sell when you can, not when you have to.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters.
You're watching Tiger TV.